Welcome back, everybody. I'm here to tell you some scary Alexa stories. Okay, first story. So, I was home alone one night, and my Amazon Kindle Fire was sitting on the counter next to me. It was fully charged and had been used recently. For some reason, it woke up and began reading In a Far-Off Kingdom out loud. My blood ran cold because we have an Echo in our living room, and sometimes when we ask Alexa for a story, she will choose one of those. And I did not ask her to do that. Then it started reading Once Upon a Time in a Far-Off Kingdom, which is how most fairy tales begin. I live in a modern house with no fairy tales. No old magical beings, and definitely no witches around. I could have sworn I asked it to stop, but the only response I got was, "Sorry, I'm not allowed to do that." It then started to read some really messed up shit. I remember it saying something along the lines of, "And then the witch took the girl into the forest and chopped off her head and then boiled her in a cauldron." I remember screaming at it to shut up, and it didn't stop until I unplugged it. I have never plugged it back in. And now any Kindle or Echo devices are completely banned from my house. I honestly believe that thing was trying to drive me crazy. Okay, next story. When my son was still waking up in the middle of the night, we had an Amazon Kindle next to his bed to help him self-soothe. He would look at the pictures while laying in his crib, and it helped him calm down and go back to sleep. One night, however, he came running into our room, screaming and crying, and the Kindle was nowhere to be found. It was still on airplane mode, so it wasn't making noise when we went to look for it. The weirdest part, it was sitting on the top shelf in the closet. My son is 2 years old and can't climb. My husband and I looked at each other in shock, and then started to scream at each other, asking who moved it. Neither of us did. We were both adamant. Then we heard my son giggling in his room. Turns out he must have gotten out of bed, walked into the closet, and somehow managed to climb up and grab the Kindle. My husband and I are still pretty freaked out by this, and we have since moved the Kindle into our room. Okay, last story. This happened a few days ago, and I am still freaked out about it. I have an Amazon Kindle Oasis that I mainly use for audiobooks when I am driving or doing chores. It was fully charged and was sitting on the passenger seat in my car when I got in it after work. I started listening to an audiobook, and everything was fine. About 5 minutes into the book, I heard a loud crash, and the lights flashed wildly. I immediately stopped the car and turned off the engine. Thinking someone was messing with me, I looked in the back seat, and in the front there was nothing. There was no one else in the car. I checked the glove box and under the seats just in case. Nothing. I've never experienced anything like this, and I don't know what the hell is going on. If anyone else has experienced anything like this with their Kindle, please let me know. I am freaking out a little, and I just want to know if this is happening to other people too. I ended up having to leave the book unfinished, because I could unbring myself to get back in that car. So yeah, there you go. More Alexa horror stories. Remember, if you guys want to hear more stories like this, go check out the link in the description to our podcast, where we share longer, scarier stories. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.